Since 2012, steps began to be taken to find a successor global development framework to advance the agenda beyond 2015.
One of the weaknesses of the MDGs is that it didn't quite address economic transformation, and that if we don't address economic transformation, we will not be able to sustain poverty reduction and our interventions in health, education, and the human development area.
The Sustainable Development Goals, a proposed set of targets relating to future international development, were suggested to replace the Millennium Development Goals and are expected to be adopted by the UN General Assembly in September 2015.
But the good thing about the Sustainable Development Goals, vis-a-vis the Millennium Development Goals, was that we the 193 nations, were given the opportunity to actually contribute, because we're already thinking about how we can localize the SDGs.
And as world leaders developed a post-2015 development agenda, the United Nations Development Programme, Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, and the Foundation Center together with a group of leading foundations have teamed up to establish the post-2015 platform for philanthropy.
Thankfully, the broader role of philanthropy and foundations in global development efforts is increasingly acknowledged and very much valued today.
You know, really the whole world is interested in development goals. What are we working together to achieve? And I think foundations and philanthropy in general, a lot of us are very new, a lot of us are maybe late to some of these discussions, but we're moving into that space.
Today, African entrepreneurs and philanthropists have the resources, the network, and an opportunity to spur greater levels of social and economic change. There is the emergence of high net worth individuals in Africa who are now forming their own foundations.
The platform is not really anything physical. What we want to do by the end of 2 years, we want to say that the government of Ghana and philanthropy have a strong understanding of and institutional ways of working with each other.
It makes sense dealing with such institutionalized body, synergizing efforts, but if you don't know what people are doing, how can you do that? And if you have that umbrella body, it helps with the synergy.
The platform also aims to engage philanthropy in implementing these collaborative efforts, thereby amplifying the voice and actions of grantees by providing data on their activities across the globe.
It's important to do that kind of participatory monitoring and tracking process. Therefore, how do you bring the indicators down to the level of the beneficiaries, so that when you need information, they can also contribute to tell you that we have achieved this, we have achieved that, and we have achieved that.
And so I'd really plead with people to look at why you're collecting data and then make it relevant. And also for all of us in the philanthropic sector to understand that sometimes the impacts that we're looking for are not countable. They're not easily found in numbers.
We have been operating in Ghana for over 25 years, and we see a huge opportunity in achieving universal access to safe and sustainable water supply. With the Sustainable Development Goals are very much in sync with our priorities here in Ghana.
We found in the 17 development goals that key in with our priorities. The foundation is very keen on building partnership across philanthropic sectors to advance global development, especially in the critical areas of building inclusive societies and ensuring that inequality in the world, which is the major 21st century challenge that we're dealing with today, is minimized.
In all this, what is it that the government of Ghana is expected to do at this game-changing time?
I think first of all, I would like to make a humble appeal that we create an enabling environment for us who are in the private sector of giving. We are also happy to learn that the National Development Planning Commission is on board.
Ghana runs a decentralized planning system with the cross-sectoral planning groups. When it comes to prioritization, we would come to a consensus. So we'd have government, academia, civil society, all coming together to look at our current situation, what our aspirations are as a country, and how do we get there? And therefore, which of the SDGs do we need to pay attention to?
At a breakout session for participants discussed 3 thematic areas: education, water, sanitation and hygiene.
Ghana needs about $170 million a year to meet the SDGs and to meet the commitments that were made at the Sanitation and Water for All high-level meeting in Washington. Philanthropy over the last decade has brought about $12 million a year into Ghana. So clearly, can make a difference, but it is not the be-all and end-all.
UNDP Country Director Dominic Sam is confident that the strong resolve of the Government of Ghana, the NDPC, and the level of commitment of philanthropy and CSOs show that the conversation started here will form an integral part of the implementation framework of the SDGs.
We're looking much more at philanthropy and strategic investments, really as platforms that can help us match up to the challenges that the implementation of these ambitious goals would require. I think now we have the matching orders. We hear loud and clear to make sure that we move forward this initiative. I can commit on behalf of our UN colleagues that will be there to make sure that this platform works, and that this is just the beginning of a conversation.
It is hoped that the platform will serve as a springboard to catapult the global development agenda forward in a big way.